welcome, welcome. And then I will take the microphone so that way you can let the people in because you have that work too. So let me share my screen and then I can also
explain. I'm presenting for the ones who also we have international guests from Greece as well. So so it would be nice to hear, like, introduce you to them as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. So for the ones who know me, my name is Elif Bengü, and I work, of course, at AGU. If we have outside visitors, because I saw my friend Kostas, but also I know that this event also open for high school students, right? In Kayseri, Zeynep. So
yes, that's true.
Yeah. So if we have also those students, so I work for AGU and I work with the, in short, Teaching and Learning Center, and we call it CELT. So there, my main purpose is to provide support for instructors on their teaching, but of course, I also need to have an idea on our students' learning. And especially now, this thing called COVID, I will say, it changes everything. It changes our teaching style, it changes our learning style. So today, then with Zeynep and with the university, we said, why not provide a webinar on learning during disruptions and uncertainty. So I prepared a presentation, but please use the chat box. You can send your questions in Turkish, in English. I'm okay with that, whatever works for you. And then Zeynep will ask me. You can wait also at the end too. It's really up to you. I'll be using Slido for 3 short questions while I was presenting, just to, you know, have some interactions with you, because engagement is really challenging. You're welcome to turn on your, of course, microphone, your cameras. It's, you know, up to you, but I would love to hear your voices too, of course. So let's start before it is too late. And also happy Friday, I should say. So, oh, sometimes I'm having. So I'm sure you may feel out of control right now, and which is so normal, especially at this time. You may be facing a lot of unknowns and disruptions, and which is also so normal too. So please try to be patient with yourself, your classmates, and your instructors during this time, whichever university or high school you're in. First, be patient with yourself. We are all learning together. Your instructors also learning too. Before you say something to yourself and to the classmates or instructor, just, I will say, think twice. And most importantly, please take care of your well-being. And I'm hoping that the tips that I will provide you today maybe will help you to plan and adjust your studying, and hopefully you will have a little sense of control on your learning or where this world is going. So in a healthy scenario, which I love this photo, right? You know, happy, smiley, seems like she has a nice background. So I consider this a healthy scenario. And this is how, in fact, they're portraying online learning. So in a healthy scenario, for your learning to happen, since this is learning, right? And we need to kind of like know how learning happens. You should process only a few pieces of information in each channel at one time. So what do I mean with this? Channels are seeing, hearing, doing, thinking, and saying. So if you're seeing something, you're thinking, hearing something, thinking. So it's just, you know, just a couple of information in each channel, which is good. Then learning takes place. On the other hand, in emergency remote learning scenario, in emergency remote learning scenario, this is what I've been hearing from my students. You are receiving too many information and content from various channels at the same time. You might be looking at your screen, you might be listening, but at the background, you might be dealing with this, which is understandable. So you might be dealing with family issues, house chores, little siblings who are like screaming maybe. Sadly, yes, as instructors, we cannot block what you have around you. You have to do it for yourself, which I also know that it might not be easy, but at least you maybe try to minimize it. And then please also let your instructors know if there's something that they need to know about your learning environment, which is so crucial. Because if you're in a, safe environment, if you are in an environment where you don't have physical or minimize physical barriers, that's when your learning will take place. And in this time, yes, your study habits also have to change, because one point you were in face-to-face classrooms and now you are in online classrooms. And sadly, we did not choose it. It's just basically they throw at us, to instructors too. So we are all dealing in this together, and hopefully we will come out strong. That's our hope. So then here is, and I call it the myth, but I want to ask a question. And you can just answer it yourself too. I was planning to use Slido for that, but that is okay. I want you to think about it. And you can even write it on chat if you like to, or if you like to say something on it, but chat can be good too. Academic success happens by itself. I'm also opening my chat to see if you will write something there. So if you say yes, you can all raise your hands, because I think there's a little blue hand, I think. So if you think that academic success happens by itself, just raise a hand or say yes on the chat box. Academic success happens by itself. I'm also looking if anyone is raising their hand. I don't think so, said someone. Any hands? You can also raise hand. No, okay. Yeah, I just want to see hands if you say yes, you don't. Yes or no? Yeah, you're right. Yes or no? No. Good. I guess mostly no, then I will say. Yes, no. That's true. That is so true. Academic success takes conscious effort, especially in online learning. It even takes more happened. Yes, I think that is so right, Mohammed. It happens with hard work and dedication. So, and you will need to practice, which in fact, the whole kind of like my webinar will be on it. It needs self-discipline and organizational skills, which I'll try to help you today increase your awareness on those. So here's my second then. Academic success is solely the student's responsibility. If you think that, yes, again, raise your hands. Otherwise, you can also write it on comments. Academic success is solely the student's responsibility. Absolutely, yes. No, 50-50, that's true, Lokman, yes. Yeah, I mean, no, you guys are on the right thing. So let's look at it. So I'll say, and the research said, students need support. So although, yes, responsibility is on you, but we need to provide you support. On the other hand, we are not these, cute witches, can read your brain. You have to ask for help. If you cannot ask for help, then we cannot know how to provide you support. So while I'm on my presentation on this webinar, I would like to also ask you to do something for me. While you're listening to me, can you find maybe you have it already, please get a notepad, like a paper or a pen. What I want you to do is, while you're listening to me, I want you to take notes. You can take like you know, I don't know, it's up to you how you want to take notes, because we are all different, but please take notes. I'll give you a couple of seconds before I continue. You can use your computer to take notes from my presentation, or you can just use the old way thing, pen and notepad. So I'll give you some time to take your pen and pencil and notepad. Yeah, and yeah, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so I like these memes. One does not simply remember without taking notes. Okay, so I hope you have your notes, so let's continue. So I've asked a couple of my students, in fact, I asked my classroom, I said, well, I have this webinar where I'll be talking about learning. What I should focus on, because when I say learning is a huge thing. So I asked them, what do you want to hear about? And they say, we would like to learn about self-discipline and motivation. Can you provide us some tips? So I was like, great, yeah, then I can build the webinar on that. But first, then we need to look at what's the definition. This thing when I work it. Okay, so self-discipline, this is so interesting. Self-discipline is based on action and routine, not on emotion. It doesn't matter how we feel if we can exercise self-discipline. So, going to work, self-discipline, waking up every morning and going to work, or if you're a performer, doesn't matter the kind of emotions you have, still being on that stage. If you're a teacher, attending your classroom and putting all the emotions outside of your classroom, that's self-discipline. So it's not related to emotion. On the other hand, motivation is all about emotions. If we feel doing something, we will. If we don't feel like it, we will not do it. And people may drag us to do it, but if we are not motivated, forget about it. We will not able to listen. We will not able to leave that bad. So it's all about that motivation. So how we can build both is my aim. Of course, through just this webinar, I cannot, ask you to change everything in one night, your routine, your expectations, but I'm hoping that I will give you awareness. That's always what I hope for, increase your awareness. So let's look at it then, how we can build this. By the way, there's another difference between the motivation and self-discipline, which is support. So if we have good support, then our motivation level will be in good hands. The support can be your friends, your family, yourself. It can be motivational. And you may say, I cannot find it sometimes from my family and friends, which is so understandable. It's life. And also, please aware that at AGU, we have the counseling center, which I would like to remind you, because sometimes we need to talk about those things too. So please know that we are here for you. Okay. So then, great. You're like, I need to build my motivation and self-discipline. How am I going to do that? So let's look at it. By the way, I hope everyone is still with me. Is everything good there?
Yeah, we are getting more.
Okay, okay, great. So if you have any questions, I have something on chat. Yes, great, great. Yeah, you're alive. Great. It motivates me to be with you guys. See, that is motivation. So then, how to establish our routine. I will just give you a couple of tips, and I will ask you to even start to practice starting tomorrow if you can, and if you have not done some of the things yet. So let's start with first thing. Well, by the way, all of these things can apply to online, like face-to-face too, okay? When you're a face-to-face learner, if you, even outside of learning community, let's say you are working at a company, Let's say, you know, you're out of the university, you're graduated. So all of things you can apply to whatever work you're doing. Staying organized. As you know, from face-to-face, when we transfer ourselves from face-to-face to online, many things change. So our syllabuses change, as an example. First of all, maybe some of the courses, the time change, which we try not to, but it may happen. The style of the exams changed. So if you have not, what I want you to do is go to your syllabuses. It's all on Canvas, and look what has changed. Because there might be a couple of things that you have missed. Maybe you didn't have that discussion, now you had it. Maybe you had that final work, but now you don't. So then you don't need to worry about something that it is not there anymore. And also, as an example like this, you can just do a matrix. How many classes you are taking, you know, just write the important dates. Another thing you can do is, also, let me, scheduling, the calendar. Yeah, it probably yours will look something like this too, because some of you are taking, even I was talking with someone who's taking 7 courses. I was like, really, how are you, you know, handling it? Write down everything on your schedule. It can be, this can be digital, or also paper. But this is really about self-discipline. This is how your self-discipline starts and your motivation starts. And students find it much more difficult to keep track of your assignment when, you know, with these online classes. It's maybe related to because they are now all virtual. You don't have a physical location and predictable times. So it is just out there. So it is hard to miss things. But please create a chronological list of every course related task each week. You need to do this so that you will have everything in front of you. And then you check them off. By the way, I have it. You're not seeing it, but on my wall, I have it. For example, I started this as my ritual. I started this 30 days of yoga. And I created a calendar. So every day when I do it, I check off. I also have my to-do things on my wall. So I also check them off. But seeing them helped me. So every morning I know what I need to work on that day. Of course, sometimes I mess up too, which is fine, which is, you know, acceptable. But at least you have your schedule. You can just go back. So that is one thing that I can ask you if you don't have it yet. So can you show again hands or say yes? Are you now keeping a calendar? Yes, you can show thumbs up too. On the chat, you can just say yes, digital or paper, doesn't matter, but please do. It's really, you know, it's helpful. Now that if you are not doing it at the moment, I highly suggest you, because that's what really helps you to be on that schedule. That will tremendously help you. So that will be my suggestion. Yay, and I'm seeing my students here too. Great. Yeah, and also follow your instructors, because I know some of your instructors are there. They are so good at organizing their time. Ask them how they are doing it. And trust me, most of them are keeping calendars, especially if they have, you know, kids and families. They have to do it. Otherwise, everything can be messed up. So great. We have our schedule. We know what to work on. Then let's look at our goals. Of course, we need to set up goals, right? But please don't give me goals where you may need like 3 or 2 months to work on. Especially at this time, this COVID again, I'll be focusing on, we don't know when what might happen next week. So please create small goals. For example, your first goal I can give you, stay healthy. That's your first goal. And your second goal might be check your classes, which ones, you know, you want to, of course, I'm sure you want to pass from all, but, you know, just look at which ones are realistic. Maybe you can measure yourself and say, you know what, I will not able to pass from this course. And as you know, we have this grading policy, which we change. We listen our students and we change our grading policy, which is good. So now you have, you know, you can be more relaxed. And also, as you know, we also extend the withdraw window. So if you feel like it is not working for you, the class, just drop it. You know, you can figure it out in the summer or next semester. Don't put too much stress on yourself, I will say, at that time, but do as much as you can. That's also so important. And again, you know, talk with your instructors. Then I would like to show you also the mistakes that we do when our goals are too big. Like, you know, forget about it. Today, in fact, we were talking with our friends and she was like, where should we travel to? I'm like, seriously? I cannot do any plans on traveling. Traveling is not my goal right now. But I have a couple papers that I need to finish. I have this presentation today. That was my goal, to present you a nice, you know, give you nice messages. That was my goal today, and hopefully I will establish. We'll see. So when you are doing this transition, so you have your schedule, you have your goal, then you may realize that you have to put some habits that you brought from face-to-face, which maybe it was working at that time. Then you need to have maybe new habits with this change. So, you know, while you're listening me through this presentation, also think about those behaviors. For example, one student, let me check the name. Yes, EJB Özsoy said, sorry, I was like calling your name too, but said he or she, I usually say they, if I don't know the gender, to be gender neutral. So they may not having calendar, right? Keeping calendar. So now here's your new behavior. The first one, keeping a calendar. So, you know, think about those behaviors that you need to acquire and you need to push on the side just for the online learning. And be consistent. Consistency is really important. I can, you know, easily say, make tasks simple. Don't think, there's a video, I would like to show it in fact, but then I was like, maybe we had a problem. It's this actor, maybe you all know it already. He said, just do it. Just go and do it. You know, don't make any excuses. Just do it. So, oh, let me see. There is something, to go for and make it some sort of habit to get into a routine. Is there, or is it just called, okay, let me read it. You are talking about scheduling, so all of us can make the planning itself, I assume. But what would you recommend to actually go for it and make it some sort of habit to get into a routine? Is there any, or habits? I'm very curious if there are any tips. Well, if I understand it wrong, after you make that schedule, you have to stick to it. Like, you know, because you have your, first of all, it will help you to see what is coming. If there's a due date, you will see it on your calendar. If there is a team meeting, you will see it on your calendar. Even your course times, you will see it on that calendar, because that's what we are also hearing from our students. Oh, I missed it. It just got completely out of my mind. And then for the, to make it some sort of habit, you have to do it. As I said, it needs to be consistent. You have to do it again and again, and then it will turn to a habit. I think there's a saying that if you do it 40 times, it becomes a habit. I forget the number. Maybe one of you know that. There is a certain number.
21.
21? Yeah, if you do it 21 times, then it becomes a habit. So yoga today, 14. I still have, so I need to be self-determined, and then it will become a habit. So let's see about it. But yeah, how to make it a habit then? Don't think about it, just do it. Don't think about other people. Your instructor may give you a reading, you haven't even started to read it, but then one of your friends said, oh, it was so hard to read, I don't get anything out of it. You haven't even started to read it. It's your friend who couldn't understand whatever the paper or the chapter is about. Don't think what others are saying. You do it. You go and do your work. This might be challenging, I can understand, but try to create a space for yourself to study. And of course, I don't know your environment. You know, it's easy for me to say, but I completely respect and understand. It's just with the limitations, try to find a space. I have this friend who's in fact, director in a company. She lives with her family, and guess where she's studying? In the kitchen, because there's no room in the house. So, you know, even the directors may conduct these big meetings from the.
I heard once that is leading the meeting in the toilet, and she's leading in a very big company like yeah, like Bayer. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in toilet, because the only silent place is there.
Yeah, nope, it's so true. She works here in Kayseri, but yeah, with 6 people she lives in the house now. Turn off your electronic devices, because when you're in that consistent routine, there'll be always things that are bothering you. For example, even for this presentation, I turn off my WhatsApp, I turn off my email, so it's also not bothering you, so as an example. And again, for to be consistent, you have to follow this calendar that you create for yourself. And as I said, can always answer your questions too in a personal way. So chunking, chunking is so important. You have to chunk your work. That's another thing that I'll say demotivate us. I'm sure you're receiving tons of readings, writings, and many other things from your instructors. And of course, you have one aim: take care of the class, take care of the homeworks, and do it in once. And then with that aim, you put everything in one task, right? In an hour, in 2 hours. So you try to finish as much as you can in that 2 hours, because then later, of course, you want to help your mom. You may need to go back to your video game or your TV show. And yes, I can see those error signs too, which you may not, but I can see it, because this kind of act can bring procrastination, which you're always asking me, like how not to procrastinate. Don't try to put everything in one task. You might feel overwhelmed and you can run out of time and you can stress about it. So my suggestion, you know, it's like this cake. Can we eat? Here's an example for you. Can we eat one cake? Can you eat? I'm sure, you know, if it is a, you know, a big piece of cake, the whole cake, I can eat. I can eat, definitely. But then, and I'm sure you can eat too, but then how will be the feeling afterwards? So yes, you can get it everything done, but you know, your stomach will not process that cake, I guess. You know, you will have an ache. It's the same thing. You know, you will not able to process what you learn. So that's why I will say, please, try not to do it all in one studying. You need breaks. So breaks are so crucial. And remember, you cannot finish a whole week of regular classroom work in just one single setting. You cannot do that. But then you may ask me like, okay, how am I going to do it, Elif? Well, first of all, I don't want you to multitask, okay? That's a big no. And you may say, I'm good at it. I'm a great multitasker. I can do a couple things in one time, and well, poor brain, right? And you may do. I cannot say anything. You may be a great multitasker, but let me show you what happens to your brain when you multitask. By the way, let me ask, who can multitask from the listeners? And let me check if you're still out there. Yes, Zainab shows. No, not me too. I tried to, but no, I'm horrible at it. Okay, knowing ourselves is good too, to a certain degree. I can in an extent. Nope, sometimes. I guess it depends on the work too. What your work, I can usually, okay. Is it stress? That's true. Well, let me show you your brain in multitasking and what's happening. So maybe then you may change your mind later on. So maybe you will, try not to multitask, especially with some things. So first of all, what happens is, so each time you, it's possible, but difficult. Yes, yes. So first of all, if you're multitasking, your assignment will take longer. By the way, I'm guilty about that. I do sometimes multitasking. Yes, sometimes I turn on that Netflix show. But then I found myself watching the same scene like 10 times because I was like trying to do something. And then I was like, oh, what happened in that scene? So then I kind of like forwarded back. So it's, yeah, or I look, or I was something on Instagram or Facebook, then I come back, then on my assignment, I have to play forward just to see where I was. So assignments take longer. And also, in another thing, you're more likely to make mistakes. Yes, you can multitask, but there be the increase on the numbers of mistakes that you will make. And also that distraction and switching between the things will make your brain tired. So you will feel more tired than usual. And also you will remember less, because your brain is divided. There are tons of, on the web photos on those multitasking. Our brain is divided, and you will not able to put anything in your long-term memory. Yes, you will multitask, but there's nothing in your long-term memory. So if it is one task is something related to learning, I will say don't do multitask. But if it is just, simple copy and paste or organizing a presentation, then yes, go ahead, do it. So it's all about what you are working on. So instead of multitasking, my recommendation is monotasking. So it's all about how to be, again, self-discipline, self-learner. It's related to monotasking, just focusing on one thing at a one time so that you can finish things in a quicker way. And for that, what we are suggesting is Pomodoro technique. Have you heard about Pomodoro technique? You can also write it to chat. Oh, I have a question here at the same time. Yes, Dia, you're so right. It's also related to our personality. Well, in fact, throughout my presentation, what I'm talking is mostly the basic ideas or things that are relevant to everyone. But then we need to go to, if we need to go to personalities, then it is better to do through one-on-one consultation. So yeah, but you're so right about that. Our study habits, motivation, it all changes, depends on our personality. So first time, okay, so let me talk about this. So this is good, in fact. The first time I heard about this is through my cousin, who is working at a company, in fact. So she's working at a company, and she told me about this thing. and called Pomodoro technique. And I was like, what is this about? And then she said, well, it's a time management method developed by a person named Francesco Cirillo. And as you see, Italian, in the late 90s. So it's basically divide your times. It's as it says, to increase your productivity. Now they are used, in fact, I think since 1980s, they've been using this in companies to increase people's productivity and also like the time that we sit in front of the computer. So it's basically taking time in between, taking breaks in between tasks. So you're identifying your task for the day. You're setting a timer for 25 minutes. Work for the duration of the timer, then take a 5-minute break. After every 4th break, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. And if you feel like you want to work more, then you can continue again. So then you walk around, you drink, you eat. Of course, we are in Ramadan too, but the ones who are not. So you can also breathe or, do some kind of activity if you can in your balcony maybe. So, so I wanted to put this as a reminder. Yes, it's great. And there are tons of videos out there on YouTube. You can also look at that too. 35-minute break. Yes, Neziha. That's why, there are also apps on iPhone, I found it on my iPhone, but there are in other places too. For example, this one, I've been using it. So it is basically, let me just show you on my phone. So I said start. So can you see the seed? So there's a seed. It's a tree seed. So when you click on it to start your timing, it puts that seed into the grow. And then the timer is now 30 minutes. So instead of 25, it gives me 30. And then at the end of that 30, if I don't give a break or do something on my cell phone, it grows to a 3. It's so good. I've been trying this and it's really helping me because, there's this thing that I need to pay attention to. Barish, oh, okay, great. Yes, Annie, please give us the video because I've been using this, as I said, and I've been hearing it from the work-related places. They've been using it a lot. It can be even a good soft skill to have. You can even, mention it when you're in the interview that you've been using Pomodoro technique to, for your self-discipline. So, which is good to mention. So yeah, it's great. We've been also using this with, so to electronic department, I'm also giving classes. So there we are also using it with our students. Of course, they're trying, sometimes they're like stopping it, they're trying it again. It's just trying and finding what's the best for you. Okay, so who has been taking notes so far? Can I see hands again or notes? Are you taking notes? Thank you. Yeah, show me hands. Taking notes. Great. Yeah, even if you're writing a couple of things, why? So sadly, when the teachers, I love this, Mimi, when the teacher said, you may take the notes. This is what we've been doing, right? Again, I'm guilty. I do it too. Do we really, went back and look at them? Like seriously, I'm asking. I don't. Well, unless it is something that I need to use it for a presentation. I don't. And I usually delete them because I need a space on my phone and I delete them. It means this is important. Yes, some key points, that's true. But please don't take the photo because when you take the photo, and there are tons of research out there on this, When you take a photo, yes, I can, definitely. When you take the photo, there is no learning takes place. No learning takes place, let me tell you this. But when you take notes, and yes, your maybe your instructor shared the presentation, you may look at your notes, but try to take notes, because then the learning really takes place. So sorry, I have to just cross it, even cross it like this, because this is not the kind of learning that we want. So what can you do instead, Joe? Sorry. So really, I will say on online learning, it's really easy to lose your attention while you are watching a video lecture. Even after seconds, you can lose your attention. And also, if you're watching a webinar, if you are reading a book, course book, so not to lose or go to Facebook or Instagram, just to pay attention, have your notebook, have your pen, take notes. Then, you will not lose attention. And why it is important? It helps you to engage. And also, which engagement is so important. And yes, it can be boring. I know some things are boring, but you remember, we have to do in a way for our learning. And then I will talk about to you how we can make it fun too. And it aids both retention and your understanding. So it supports that. You can also see what you are not understanding, and you can ask your instructor, which we will come to that. And then it can be an invaluable guide for you to see, what is covered and how it is all related. But think about that understanding. So what can we do if we don't understand? Which takes us to, by the way, those are my last presenters. So what I want you to do is, no matter what, you need to stay in touch. The calendar you made, you set your goals, you're taking your notes, make sure that you create it as a habit. Great. One of the biggest difference of the face-to-face and online learning is the amount of interaction you have with your instructors and with your classmates. So, in face-to-face, you're always, right, face-to-face with your instructor, even sometimes when you don't even want to see us, we are there, I'm sorry. But with online teaching, you don't have that interaction. So you have to, this is your responsibility. You have to establish that interaction. So email your instructors with questions. Set up a time for video conferences. And I'm sure some of your instructors might say, I have an office hour. You can ask me questions. And I know this because they told me, they said, I gave my numbers to students so they can ask me questions on WhatsApp. Use those. So use whatever tools out there. Also, I also want you to get in contact with your classmates. Don't get me wrong. You might say, you know what? I'm not in touch with them. I don't learn from them. It's okay. I don't ask you to socialize, but you can ask questions and you can learn from each other. So again, discussion boards, online messaging. So anyway, reach out proactively. And also I'm hearing some of our students are creating these study groups, which I love it. They're like, we are using Zoom to study together. Great, you can do your own thing, but accountable. So basically you are accountable from each other. So it is good. So yeah, to be successful online, you need to actively seek out communication with your instructor and other students. That takes me, this is a side note. I also want to mention the email etiquette while I'm here, when I found you, because this is also important, especially in this online environment. Because now everything is online. We are sending tons of messages online. Please put your instructor name. Be careful with reply all button. It is so crucial. You may find yourself sending tons of messages to other people that you don't want them to see. Your subject line, please use your classroom name. The file attachments, always mention to your instructor that something is attached, otherwise they may not see it. Double check grammar, punctuation, formality, anything. So please look at that too, which you can read it more. So my last 2 slides, and if you have questions, please start to ask it on chat too. Development of healthy habits is also part of that self-discipline and motivation. Eating healthy. And some of you cannot complain anymore because you're with your moms, which is good. But I know that some of you still stay in the dorms still. I still need to do my own cooking. But the ones who are at homes, you're lucky. So please eat healthy. Exercise is another thing. They are all, again, related to your learning pattern. And I don't take the I cannot exercise excuse. I'm sorry, I don't. This is why. Because even on your chair, even if there's a chair in the house, you can exercise. There's a chair yoga, there's a chair active exercise. You can, fill the water bottle and you can do weight even while you're listening me. I have to be honest, to some meetings, that's what I do. I'm in a meeting, I walk on my place, I use weights. I have this little yoga ball, I put it in between my legs and I squeeze, and there in front of me, rector is talking, but what can I do? Because I cannot sit still sometimes, I have to move. Even when you're, listening, you can do that. Sleep, so important, and also smile, which is, so those 4 essentials is really, really important, again, for our learning, especially in this unstable times. And last but not least, breathe in and breathe out, which is so, so important. When you're stressed, there's this in yoga, there's this lion breathing out, which I love it. In fact, you're just breathe in and then just let it go. You have to let it go. Sometimes you need that, especially, I'm sure, if you're if you're in the houses with too many people, hard to move around. We need that sometimes, that letting it go. And I love this little cat here that's sneak out. So yeah, this is all from me about the learning. But as you see, there are not that technology involved. It's all about what we need, what are our goals. You may even say, you know what, I will not able to do it this semester. Then we are also giving you opportunity to pause or drop that course. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. So I think I have, I don't know if I took so long, Zeynep, but
No, it's pleasure. So by the way, I'm taking the questions, so you can still continue. And then
okay. Well, I'm good.
You ask how do they deal with this online learning, that they want to, if they want to leave some notes, but still they can ask you last questions.
Please ask anything. And please also know that we are also adjusting it too, as I'm a learner too. I'm an instructor, but I'm also a learner. I also have tasks that I need to do. I have reports that I need to give, and sometimes I have to say no or schedule things. So we are in this together, and I'm also learning from you too. So you can turn on your microphone if you want to ask. So now I will stop, so we'll give some time.
Yeah, so that's true. It's really that it's self-discipline and self-motivation is like playing a great important role, and very clear and very structured presentation, by the way. I really appreciate.
Oh, welcome.
So yeah, really. And so that's really good. So that's why, I mean, now also that's like Darwinism way of saying that if you can adapt yourself, you can like survive. So we are trying to be the survivals. So that's why
Yes.
it's, your help is really impressive in this manner. So thank you a lot for that, Elif.
And
In
once someone said, I still think it's harder than usual. So change your old routine. Like, you know, I don't know who wrote this, but you have to change your old routine. Because old routine was good for face-to-face, I'm sure. But, you know, we have to accept it. This is not a normal time. And online education requires you to build really different set of skills.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is, and as I said, if you're someone who would like to talk, I don't mind also talk to you face to face, but you need to build new skills to able to keep up with the online education. And as you know, Zeynep, we may have this in the summer as a summer school, and also we may have even our fall semester as an online too, so we don't know. And whatever I say here is also a great fit for face-to-face too.
Yeah, and nothing will be the same, but that some people are assuming that it will be the same, like it will be after May or June that we will be going back our work and then everything. No, I don't think so.
For example, United States is now already planning for their fall semester online.
Yeah.
All the universities, they are not even thinking about face-to-face. And who knows, maybe we'll start to have like both online and face-to-face. That's how we will build our courses. I will wait with the online teaching. We also need to give this space, the pause. So I want to give that. So please ask your questions if you have.
Yeah, so that's true. I mean, so really it's like we should take care about it. So, and also
Yes.
like, and also it's high time to upskilling also. It's also cool.
Yes. Yes.
So that we have everything open at the moment, free, and so we should benefit from this kind of opportunities actually. So yeah, really.
Definitely. And please ask for help. There are, you know, you have instructors I know who are willing to provide you help. And please don't leave anything to last minute. Like, let's say you couldn't attend one of your course, you missed something, inform your instructor as soon as possible, so we will aware of your situation. I know some students been doing it and their instructors are like, okay, you know, let's see what we can do for you. I was reading one article where it was talking about how COVID works for higher education, in fact. And there it was saying that now as institutions, which we were always, but now instructors and institutions are more student-centered.
Yeah.
We are really, which we were before, but even now, we are really listening our students and, you know, respond their needs and wants as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's true. So it's really, thank you. It's really, I would say that you can also read it. So it's tremendous.
Yes.
Excellent and very informative session. So, and I hope that it works for our students and also for the ones who participate. And if they were able to take some notes and then read these.
Let me also put my email for the ones who doesn't know my email address. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me through chat or, you know, through email. So yes. Oh, I couldn't send it. So yeah. Oops, I sent it.
Will you send me to? I will copy paste.
Yeah. So please, you know, you can always email me anything that comes to your mind about learning. Yeah, I can say. And please, for students who need particular attention, please remember we have the counseling center, Jada, that you can contact to, and of course me always.
Yeah, that's true. So thanks everyone for participating, and Elif, thanks for your tremendous job. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my students are also here too from creative drama, so I've seen that impact that they came. Yay! They're the ones who told me what topic to pick, so I listened their suggestion.
So it's really good. So
Yes,
so,
yes.
so last words. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I appreciate your to see you all. Right. So okay. So take care of yourself. Stay healthy.
Bye bye. Have a nice day. Night.